Title: The Dollmaker's Curse. Chapter 1: The Antique Shop. The bell above the door jingled softly as Emily stepped into the quaint antique shop nestled in the heart of the city. The air was thick with the scent of old wood and dust, and shelves lined with forgotten treasures loomed in the dim light. Emily's eyes wandered, drawn to a collection of antique dolls nestled on a shelf in the corner. Each doll had a haunting beauty, their porcelain faces frozen in serene smiles. But one doll in particular caught her eye, a doll with glassy eyes that seemed to follow her every move. The shopkeeper, an elderly woman with a kind smile, noticed Emily's interest and approached. "Ah, I see you found our prized possession," she said, her voice tinged with a hint of sadness. "That doll has quite the history, you know." Intrigued, Emily listened as the shopkeeper recounted the tale of the doll. A tale of love and loss, of a dollmaker who poured his heart and soul into his creations, only to be consumed by darkness. As Emily left the shop, the doll's glassy eyes seemed to linger in her mind, its silent presence haunting her every thought. Chapter 2: The Unsettling Gift. That night, as Emily slept, she was plagued by strange dreams. Dreams of the doll, its porcelain face twisted into a grotesque grimace, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. She awoke with a start, her heart pounding in her chest. Shaken but determined to shake off the feeling of unease, Emily went about her day, trying to push the dreams from her mind. But no matter how hard she tried, the memory of the doll lingered, its silent presence a constant weight on her mind. And then, as if by fate, Emily received a package in the mail, a package containing the very doll from the antique shop. There was no note, no return address, only the doll staring back at her with its glassy eyes. Fear surged through Emily as she realized the doll had found its way into her home, its silent presence a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked within. Chapter 3: The Doll's Secret. Days turned into weeks, and Emily couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Strange occurrences plagued her home, the sound of footsteps echoing in the empty halls, objects moving of their own accord, and the feeling of being watched. But it was the doll that terrified her the most. Its glassy eyes seemed to follow her every move, and she swore she could hear it whispering to her in the dead of night. And then, one night, as Emily lay awake in bed, she saw something that chilled her to the bone. The doll moved. At first, it was barely perceptible. A slight shift in its position, a twitch of its hand. But as Emily watched in horror, the doll's movements grew more pronounced, its porcelain limbs contorting in unnatural ways. With a cry of terror, Emily fled from her home, the doll's silent laughter echoing in her ears. She knew then that she had to uncover the truth behind the doll's curse, before it was too late. Chapter 4: The Curse Revealed. Desperate for answers, Emily delved into the history of the Dollmaker, a man named Elias Blackwood, whose obsession with his creations had driven him to madness. Legend had it that Blackwood had made a pact with dark forces, trading his soul for the power to bring his dolls to life. But the price of his folly was steep, and the dolls he created became vessels for the souls of the damned. Bound to the mortal realm by Blackwood's curse, they sought only to spread their torment to unsuspecting victims. Determined to break the curse, Emily sought out the Dollmaker's abandoned workshop, hidden deep in the heart of the forest. There, amidst the crumbling ruins, she found the source of the curse. A lifelike doll, its porcelain face twisted in agony, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. With a trembling hand, Emily reached out and touched the doll, the darkness within surging forth to consume her. But as she closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, a blinding light engulfed her, banishing the darkness once and for all. As Emily emerged from the workshop, the curse broken and the Dollmaker's spirit laid to rest, she knew that she had faced true terror and emerged victorious. And as she left the forest behind, the memory of the haunted doll faded into the mists of time, a tale of horror that would be whispered for generations to come. The Abyssal Void. In the depths of the ocean, where the darkness was only illuminated by the faint glow of bioluminescent creatures, there existed a research facility like no other. The Abyssal Void was a state-of-the-art laboratory, home to a team of scientists who delved into the mysteries of the deep. The facility was a marvel of modern engineering, a testament to human curiosity and ingenuity. Dr. Maria Rodriguez, a renowned oceanographer, had assembled a team of experts to investigate the strange occurrences in the abyssal zone. They had been warned about the eerie feeling of being watched, but they dismissed it as mere paranoia. The team consisted of Dr. John Taylor, a marine biologist, Dr. Sophia Patel, a geologist, Dr. Michael Chun, a physicist, and Dr. Emily Lee, a psychologist. Together, they aimed to uncover the secrets of the deep, the descent into madness. As they explored the dark, icy waters, they stumbled upon an ancient structure hidden beneath the sediment. It was an alien artifact, emitting a strange energy signal that seemed to be calling to them. The team was ecstatic, but their excitement was short-lived. The artifact began to manipulate their minds, conjuring hallucinations and twisted visions. The scientists were trapped in a living nightmare, as the abyssal void seemed to be closing in around them. Dr. Taylor was the first to succumb to the madness, his mind shattered by the horrors he had witnessed. He became convinced that the artifact was alive, and it was speaking to him in a language that only he could understand. Dr. Patel followed soon after, her mind consumed by the darkness. She began to see things that were not there, and her colleagues grew concerned for her safety. Dr. Chun was the next to fall, his mind broken by the abyssal void's wrath. He became paranoid, convinced that his colleagues were plotting against him. Dr. Lee tried to intervene, but it was too late. Dr. Chen's mind was gone, consumed by the darkness. The void's wrath. Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Lee were the last ones standing, their minds shattered by the horrors they had witnessed. They discovered the terrible truth. The artifact was a portal to an otherworldly realm, and the void was hungry for human souls. The abyssal void unleashed its wrath upon them, conjuring creatures that defied explanation. The darkness coalesced into grotesque, tentacled beings that dragged them down into the depths. As they descended into the abyss, Dr. Rodriguez realized that the artifact was not just a portal. It was a gateway to a realm of eternal torment. The void was a prison, created by an ancient civilization to contain the horrors that lurked within. The team had unleashed the void's wrath, and now they would pay the price. The legacy of the abyssal void. The research facility was abandoned, left to the mercy of the abyssal void. The artifact remained, waiting for its next victim, as the darkness continued to whisper secrets to those who dared to listen. The abyssal void became a legend, a cautionary tale told to frighten children into behaving. But the truth remained: the void was real, and it was waiting for its next victim. Years later, a brave expedition ventured into the abyss, seeking to uncover the truth. They found only the remnants of the research team, their minds shattered by the horrors they had experienced. The abyssal void remained, a haunting reminder of the terrors that lurked in the darkest depths of the ocean. The expedition team discovered Dr. Rodriguez's journal, detailing the horrors they had faced. They learned of the artifact, the portal to the otherworldly realm, and the void's insatiable hunger for human souls. They realized that some secrets were better left unspoken, and some horrors were too great to be contained. As they fled the abyss, they knew that they would never forget the terror they had faced. The abyssal void remained, a constant reminder of the horrors that lurked in the darkest depths of the ocean, waiting for its next victim. The Carnival of Curses. As she stepped off the dusty bus, the vibrant colors and lively music of the traveling carnival, Wonderland on wheels, assaulted Emily's senses. The Ferris wheel spun lazily in the fading light of day, its seats swinging like skeletal fingers. Emily, a curious and adventurous soul, had always been drawn to the unknown, the unexplained, and the eerie aura surrounding this carnival had piqued her curiosity. The carnival's owner, the enigmatic Mr. Blackwood, greeted Emily with a wide smile and an unnerving glint in his eye. "Welcome, dear. I've been expecting you. We have a story to share, one that will make your heart race." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the carnival in an eerie twilight, Mr. Blackwood led Emily through the bustling crowds to a secluded tent. Inside, a lone figure sat shrouded in shadows, its presence seeming to fill the space. The cursed performers. This is our star attraction, the mesmerizing Zephyr, Mr. Blackwood announced, his voice low and mysterious. Zephyr's talents will leave you speechless, but be warned, the price of admission may be more than you're willing to pay. As the curtains parted, Zephyr revealed herself to be a contortionist unlike any Emily had ever seen. Her body twisted and turned in ways that defied human anatomy, her eyes gleaming with an otherworldly intensity. The audience gasped in a mix of awe and terror as she performed her act, each movement seemingly more impossible than the last. But it was not just Zephyr's physical feats that left Emily unsettled. There was something about her, something that hinted at a darkness lurking beneath the surface. And then, Emily noticed it, a small, intricately carved wooden box attached to Zephyr's wrist, adorned with strange symbols that seemed to shift and writhe like living things. The dark history. As the night wore on, Emily discovered that Zephyr was not the only performer with a mysterious past. Each member of the carnival seemed to be hiding secrets, their smiles and laughter masking a deeper pain. Mr. Blackwood revealed to Emily that Wonderland on Wheels was a refuge for those cursed, a place where they could find solace in the shadows. The carnival's history was one of tragedy and loss. Founded by a charismatic showman named Silas, it had once been a beacon of joy and wonder. But Silas's ambition had led him down a dark path, and he had made a pact with a malevolent force to ensure the carnival's success. The price had been the souls of his performers, forever bound to the carnival's curse. The descent into madness. As Emily delved deeper into the carnival's secrets, she began to experience strange visions, dark figures lurking in the shadows, their eyes glowing like lanterns in the dark. She saw Silas, his face twisted in a malevolent grin, beckoning her to follow him into the depths of madness. Emily knew she had to escape Wonderland on Wheels, but the carnival seemed to shift and twist around her, like a living maze. Every path led her back to Zephyr's tent, where her haunting gaze seemed to hold a sinister secret. The final confrontation. In the dead of night, Emily confronted Zephyr, demanding to know the truth. Zephyr's eyes flashed with a hint of madness, and she spoke in a voice barely above a whisper. "You should not have come here, Emily. Now you are trapped, just like us." As the darkness closed in around her, Emily realized that Zephyr was not just a performer but a guardian of the curse. She was the one who ensured that the carnival's secrets remained buried, and its performers remained forever bound to the darkness. In a desperate bid to escape, Emily fled the tent, but the carnival seemed to have a life of its own. The Ferris wheel spun faster, its seats swinging like skeletal fingers, as if trying to snatch her back. The music grew louder, a cacophony of terror that echoed through her mind. The eternal curse. Emily stumbled through the crowds, the colors and lights blurring together in a maddening whirlwind. The performers, their eyes aglow with an otherworldly light, emerged from the shadows, their voices whispering in unison. "You will never leave Wonderland on Wheels." As the darkness consumed her, Emily realized that she had become just another soul trapped in the carnival's eternal cycle of fear and despair. The curse of Silas had claimed another victim, and she was forever doomed to roam the Midway, a prisoner of the shadows. And so, Wonderland on Wheels continues its journey, a traveling carnival of curses, forever bound to the darkness that drives it. Its performers, forever trapped, will continue to mesmerize and terrify, their secrets buried beneath the bright lights and laughter. Title: Void's Embrace. In the vast expanse of space, where the stars whispered secrets of ancient civilizations and the void echoed with the silence of eternity, there drifted a vessel lost to the ages, a derelict spacecraft known only as the Erebos. Its hull scarred by the ravages of time and its systems long since dormant, the Erebos floated aimlessly through the cosmos, a ghost ship haunted by the memories of its past. For decades, the Erebos had drifted through the void, its origins lost to the annals of time. Some whispered that it was a relic of a forgotten era, a remnant of a doomed expedition to the outer reaches of the galaxy. Others claimed that it was a vessel of extraterrestrial origin, its alien creators long since vanished from the universe. But regardless of its origins, one thing was certain: The Erebos was a place of darkness and despair, a realm where the laws of reality ceased to hold sway and the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred into obscurity. It was into this realm of cosmic horror that Captain Miranda Reed and her crew found themselves drawn one fateful day. Tasked with investigating the disappearance of a nearby research station, they stumbled upon the derelict hulk of the Erebos drifting amidst the stars, a sight that sent shivers down their spines and set their hearts racing with fear. Despite their misgivings, Captain Reed and her crew boarded the Erebos, their senses on high alert for any sign of danger. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the sound of their footsteps echoed ominously in the empty corridors. As they explored the abandoned vessel, they felt the weight of centuries pressing down upon them, and a sense of unease settled like a chill in their bones. Strange symbols adorned the walls, their meaning lost to the passage of time, and eerie whispers echoed through the empty halls. But Captain Reed and her crew pressed on, their courage outweighing their fear as they delved deeper into the bowels of the Erebos. They searched every corner and crevice, their senses honed for any sign of life amidst the darkness. It was then that they first encountered the entity that lurked within the depths of the derelict spacecraft. A creature of pure cosmic horror, its form shifting and twisting with each passing moment. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and its voice echoed with the screams of 1,000 tormented souls. With each encounter, Captain Reed and her crew felt their grip on reality slipping away, their minds consumed by the darkness that surrounded them. They knew that they were running out of time, that they would soon become nothing more than another lost soul trapped within the cursed confines of the Erebos. In a final, desperate bid for survival, Captain Reed confronted the entity that lurked within the heart of the derelict spacecraft, her heart pounding in her chest as she prepared to face her ultimate fate. And as the final battle raged on, she unleashed powers beyond her comprehension, fighting with a ferocity born of desperation and fear. And in the end, only silence remained in the empty corridors of the Erebos, a silence that spoke of the horrors that had unfolded within its cursed confines. For Captain Reed had faced her demons and emerged victorious, but the darkness that lurked within the derelict spacecraft would forever remain a threat to those who dared to venture into its grasp. And so, the legend of the Erebos lived on, a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones to warn future generations of the dangers that lurked within the depths of space. For in the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars burned bright and voids yawned wide, there lay a darkness that could never truly be vanquished, a darkness that waited patiently for its next victims to stumble upon its haunted halls. Title: The Dollmaker's Legacy. In the quaint town of Whispering Pines, nestled amidst towering trees and rolling hills, there stood an old Victorian mansion known as Ravenwood Manor. Its weathered facade and overgrown gardens lent it an air of eerie beauty, but it was the stories whispered among the townsfolk that gave the mansion its true mystique. Legend had it that Ravenwood Manor was once the home of a reclusive dollmaker named Lydia Hawthorne. Rumored to possess an otherworldly talent for crafting lifelike dolls, Lydia's creations were said to be imbued with a sinister magic, a magic that had tragic consequences for those who dared to cross her. Amelia Carter, a curious young woman with a love for the macabre, had always been drawn to the stories surrounding Ravenwood Manor. Determined to uncover the truth behind the legends, she set out one stormy evening to explore the abandoned mansion. As she approached the imposing gates, the wind howled through the trees, and the branches seemed to reach out to her like gnarled fingers. Ignoring the sense of foreboding that prickled at her skin, Amelia pushed open the rusted gates and stepped onto the overgrown path leading to the mansion. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decay, and the sound of her footsteps echoed ominously in the darkness. Undeterred by the eerie atmosphere, Amelia pressed on, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. As she stepped through the front doors of the mansion, she felt a sense of unease settle over her like a heavy cloak. The interior was shrouded in darkness, the only light filtering in through the broken windows. Dust motes danced in the air, and the floorboards creaked beneath her feet as she made her way through the abandoned halls. With each step she took, Amelia felt as if she were being drawn further into the heart of darkness. Shadows seemed to flicker at the edge of her vision, and strange whispers echoed in the darkness. But still, She pressed on, driven by a curiosity that bordered on obsession. Finally, she reached the attic, a room that had long been rumored to be Lydia Hawthorne's workshop. As she pushed open the door, she was met with a sight that sent a shiver down her spine. The attic was filled with shelves upon shelves of dolls, their glassy eyes staring out at her from the darkness. Some were beautiful, with delicate features and elaborate costumes, while others were twisted and grotesque, their faces contorted into expressions of agony and despair. But it was the doll at the center of the room that caught Amelia's eye, a doll unlike any she had ever seen before. Its porcelain skin was flawless, its eyes as black as coal. There was something about it that seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, a darkness that threatened to consume her soul. With trembling hands, Amelia reached out to touch the doll, her fingers brushing against its smooth porcelain skin. But as she did, she felt a surge of cold dread wash over her like a tidal wave. Suddenly, the doll's eyes snapped open, their black depths locking onto hers with an intensity that made her blood run cold. With a cry of horror, Amelia stumbled backwards, her heart pounding in her chest. But before she could flee, she felt a cold hand close around her wrist, its grip like iron. With a strength born of desperation, she wrenched herself free and fled from the room, her footsteps echoing through the empty halls as she ran for her life. As she burst out of the mansion and into the cold night air, Amelia knew that she would never forget the horrors she had witnessed within its walls. And though she had escaped with her life, she knew that the memory of that night would haunt her for the rest of her days. For in the heart of Ravenwood Manor, she had come face to face with true evil, a darkness that had been lurking in the shadows for centuries, waiting to claim its next victim. And though she had escaped its clutches for now, she knew that it was only a matter of time before it came for her once again.